At my husband's funeral, I got a text. I'm alive. Don't trust our sons. My name is Margot Hayes. I am 66 years old, and the story I'm about to tell you shattered my life and rebuilt it in ways I never imagined. It began at my husband Ernest's funeral. As I stood by his grave, my world already in ruins, my phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number lit up the screen. I'm alive. That's not me in the casket. My hands trembled as I typed back, "Who are you?" The reply stole my breath. I can't say. They're watching Don't Trust Our Sons. I looked up at Charles and Henry, our two sons, standing by the casket. Their expressions were strangely calm, their tears unconvincing, their hugs as cold as ice. In that moment, my soul was torn in two. A life built on love. For 42 years, Ernest was my everything. We met in our small town of Spring Creek, two young people with modest dreams. I cleaned houses. He repaired bicycles in a small shop inherited from his father. We were poor, but rich in a love that money couldn't buy. We built a life in a tiny, leaky-roofed house that overflowed with happiness. When Charles was born, followed 2 years later by Henry, our family felt complete. Ernest was a wonderful father, teaching them to fish and fix things, while I nurtured them with all the love I had. The change, as they grew, things shifted. Charles, always ambitious, rejected Ernest's offer to work at the bike shop with contempt. "I don't want to get my hands dirty like you, Dad. I'm going to be someone important." And he did. Both sons moved to the city and found success in the business world. But with their expensive suits and luxury cars came a growing distance. Visits became rare, phone calls brief. They looked at our simple life with pity and shame. The final wedge was Charles's wife, Jasmine, a woman from the city who never hid her disdain for our home and lifestyle. She and the boys began pressuring us to sell our house, the home filled with a lifetime of memories, and move into a retirement community. They saw us not as parents, but as a burden, the accident and the aftermath. The pressure escalated. They had Ernest increase his life insurance and took out new policies, all under the guise of protecting me. They even began withdrawing large sums from our savings without my knowledge. Then the call came. Ernest had been in a serious accident at his shop at the hospital. Charles and Henry were already there, oddly efficient and focused on insurance policies and medical costs rather than their father's survival. The doctors said a machine had exploded, causing severe injuries. But Ernest never woke up. 3 days later, he was gone. The funeral was rushed and strangely private. As I stood by the freshly covered grave, consumed by grief, I received that first earth-shattering text message, uncovering the truth. The messages from the unknown number guided me. I discovered Ernest had secretly hired a private investigator, Stephen Callahan, because he feared our son's intentions. Piece by horrifying piece, the truth emerged. There was no explosion. The shop was pristine. The police had no record of a work accident. Ernest had died from methanol poisoning. Audio recordings revealed Charles and Henry coldly planning their father's murder, lacing his morning coffee with poison to make it look like a heart attack. They were drowning in debt and saw the insurance money as their only way out. Most chillingly, they were planning to kill me next, staging it as a suicide from grief. They had bribed a doctor to falsify the death certificate and were on the verge of having me declared mentally incompetent to seize control of my assets. Justice for Ernest with Stephen's evidence. Recordings, photos, and financial documents. I went to the police. My own sons were arrested for the first-degree murder of their father and conspiracy to murder me. The trial was a public spectacle. The evidence was undeniable. They were found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without parole. For 30 years, Charles later committed suicide in his cell. Henry suffered a complete mental breakdown and remains in a psychiatric prison. A new peace. The life insurance money, stained with my husband's blood, was used to establish the Ernest Hayes Foundation for victims of family crimes, helping others find justice. I still live in our home, where I turned Ernest's old shop into a beautiful garden. Stephen remains a dear friend. The pain has transformed into a hard-won peace. I learned that family is not defined by blood, but by love, loyalty, and respect. Ernest was my true family. His death was a profound tragedy, but by seeking the truth, I ensured his legacy became one of hope and justice for others.